The ruins of Outpost Meridian still smoldered under the violet sky of Kepler 442b. Roma knelt among the debris, his medic's uniform torn and stained with too many colors of blood. Red, blue, even the strange amber ichor of the Zelthari warriors. His hands trembled as he checked another body, finding only cold stillness. 15 years. 15 years of war. And for what? A sound made him freeze, a whimper, soft and pained, from beneath a collapsed medical tent. Roma's training overrode his exhaustion. He stumbled toward the noise, pushing aside twisted metal and scorched fabric. There, partially buried under equipment, lay a Zelthari female, but not a soldier. Her uniform bore the silver insignia of a field nurse, now torn and bloody. 4 delicate arms clutched at a wound in her thorax, and her large, opalescent eyes flickered with fading consciousness. Anna, her name patch read in both human script and Zelthari glyphs. Roma's first instinct was to walk away. The Zelthari had bombarded this outpost just hours ago. His friends, his patients, all dead because of them. But as he looked at Anna's face, contorted in pain, he saw something that shattered his hatred. Fear. The same fear he'd seen in countless human faces. "Damn it," he muttered, dropping to his knees beside her. Anna's eyes snapped open, all 3 pupils contracting in terror. She tried to scramble backward, but her injured body betrayed her. "Please," she whispered in broken standard, "they left me. Unit, retreat. Please." "I know," Roma said quietly, already reaching for his medical kit. "I'm not going to hurt you." Her translator device flickered weakly at her throat. "You are... human medic?" "Yeah, and you're bleeding out." He carefully moved her upper left arm to examine the wound. Energy weapon burn. Deep. This is going to hurt. What happened next would haunt Roma's memory forever, not with horror, but with wonder. As he worked to stabilize her wound, Anna reached out with one of her free hands and touched his face. Through her species' empathic ability, he felt a flood of emotions. Her pain, yes, but also her gratitude, her loneliness, her grief for comrades lost, and something else, memories that weren't his own. He saw through Anna's eyes, a field hospital overflowing with wounded from both sides. Anna working frantically, her forearms a blur as she treated a young Zelthari soldier. No, wait. She was treating a human soldier, one of Roma's own. The human was screaming, dying, and Anna was fighting just as hard to save him as she would her own kind. The memory shifted. Her commanding officer discovered her actions. Contamination, he called it. Weakness. He struck her across the face and ordered her to let the human die. She refused. Roma gasped as the connection broke. "You saved humans?" Anna's translator crackled. "Life is... life. Oath I took, no difference between species." Her eyes dimmed slightly. "They said I was... traitor. Left me here. To die with you." Something broke open in Roma's chest. Something that had been frozen solid for years. He'd spent so long seeing only enemies that he'd forgotten the fundamental truth Anna embodied. Compassion didn't have a species. "Well, I've got news for them," Roma said, his voice rough with emotion. "Neither of us is dying today." He worked with renewed purpose, sealing her wound with regenerative gel, administering pain relief, splinting her fractured limbs. Anna watched him with those enormous eyes, occasionally making soft sounds that he somehow understood as gratitude. "Why?" she finally asked. "I am enemy. Would be easier to let me..." "Because you're a nurse," Roma interrupted. "Because you took an oath and so did I. Because..." He paused, meeting her gaze. "Because I'm tired of seeing the universe through a rifle scope. And because someone needs to remember that we're supposed to be healers, not killers. Hours passed. As Anna's condition stabilized, they talked. She told him about her world, about the crystalline forests and singing storms. He told her about Earth, about oceans and mountains she'd only seen in propaganda. They discovered they'd both lost families to this war. They both questioned why it had started in the first place. Some trade dispute that had spiraled into genocide. When the rescue ships finally arrived, both human and Zeltharii, drawn by the distress beacons, they found an impossible sight. A human medic and a Zeltharii nurse sitting side by side, her head resting against his shoulder, his coat draped over her shivering form. The human commander approached cautiously. "Roma, what the hell is—" "She's under my protection," Roma said firmly. "And she's coming with us, as a refugee, a defector, whatever paperwork you need. But she's coming." The commander looked from Roma's determined face to Anna's exhausted one. Something in the scene moved him, perhaps the same thing that had moved Roma. "All right, we'll figure it out." As they helped Anna onto a stretcher, she caught Roma's hand with one of hers. Through their touch, she shared not words, but feeling, hope. For the first time in 15 years, genuine hope. Roma squeezed back, understanding. The war wasn't over. It might never be over. But here, in this moment, two souls from opposite sides of an infinite darkness had found each other. Two healers who refused to let hatred consume the very compassion that defined them. They say humanity's greatest strength is its resilience, its refusal to surrender. But Anna knew better now. Humanity's true power was simpler and more profound. Even after years of war, even with every reason to hate, humans could still choose to heal. And in healing others, Roma had finally begun to heal himself.